welcome. Good evening. Welcome to Keep It Real Ministries. I'm Jimmy Hinton, and today we're going to have some interviews and testimonies of some of the Keep It Real women as it relates to the ministry, and they're going to be asked a series of questions. And I'd like for y'all to chime in and look at it and just understand where they're coming from and get an understanding of the ministry.
So we're going to start to my right, which would be your left, and if you would, first name?
My name is Tamara.
And Tamara, where are you from?
I am from Little Rock, Arkansas.
All right. And so how did you come across Keep It Real Ministries?
Strolling Facebook one night at work, because I work overnight, and came across a gentleman preaching, and I kept strolling once I listened to like 15 seconds of it.
So you didn't want to hear what he was saying?
No, because he sounded like he was saying some stuff. Like I want to hear it. So I got off and went back 3 days later when he first started and listened to the entire message and following ever since.
Okay. And so let's talk about how the ministry has helped you as it relates to relationships. Kind of share with the viewers about that, how the ministry has kind of shaped and formed you to see relationships better now.
Well, what it has done for me is it has given me an opportunity and also showed me kind of like a outline of what questions I need to ask me if I'm possibly would want to have any form of a relationship or any interaction with me. And so what he calls vetting, I'll say, it helps me to vet them so I'll know if they're even worth my time.
Okay. Now, Tamara, this next question I want to ask you, like I really want you to think about this because this one question seems to affect some women, not all women, but let's talk about Evangelist Hinton's delivery and how do you overcome the delivery of how he says, like the tonality of what he says? How do you deal with that?
I deal with it because I listen to the whole message and not just bits and pieces of it. I feel as if you're only listening to bits and pieces and coming in the middle of something, you're not getting the entire message. So therefore, your interpretation of something is going to be different anyway.
So it sounds like you're more in tune with the message of the delivery, right?
Correct.
And not so much the
messenger.
Right, or the tonality of the message.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so how does his ministry help you to not repeat poor choices in men?
Well, since being in his ministry, I've learned what it means to vet a man. So therefore, I have a series of questions, like a checklist that I kind of ask when a guy either asks me a question or what have you. And I feel like if he answers the first couple of questions correctly, then I'm gonna know already if I won't even deal with him or just text him.
So like give an example of this checklist. Like give an example of what a man would ask, and then what's with that on your checklist.
Okay, so I will get a DM in my inbox. Hey, beautiful, how are you? So for me, it's like, okay, I know I might be special and cute, but you jumping in my inbox, so you can jump in everybody else's inbox as well. Mm-hmm. So what is it you're trying to do? Are you trying to lick, lay, lie? Or are you trying to have a relationship? And when I ask that question, the vast majority of the guys, some of them are really just trying to lick, lay, and lie. So therefore they're gonna lie about which are just
so they can lay down with you.
So they can lick and lay.
With the possibility of licking.
Correct. They're gonna lick and lay, try to.
Okay.
If not, some of them gonna jump to go ahead and jump right in and say that's what they want. Then it's like, oh, okay, thank you. And I don't say anything, but you have some who are really high value men who gonna say, well, I would just like to either take you out to dinner or have a moment of your time if you have the opportunity.
Okay. All right. Good. I mean, I like the response that you given, and of course, the same question to our next guest, which is in the middle in front of me. So if you would tell us your first name.
Okay, my name is Dee.
Okay, and Dee, where are you from?
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
All right. So Dee, how did you come across Keep It Real Ministries?
Well, I was just going through Facebook, going down my timeline one day during the day. It had to be a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday morning, and I saw, like, I thought maybe he was a comedian. Like the people that sit in their car or whatever, and go live. Tuned in. Maybe somebody shared it, I don't know. But I tuned in, and at that moment that I came in, Jimmy was very comical, very funny. I just remember laughing out loud at whatever it was that I heard. And I started watching as often as he came on. So I didn't come in at a time where I heard anything offensive. It seemed very helpful. It seemed like answers to questions that I had had about men, so or relationships. So it caught my interest right away, and he was being really funny.
Okay, so there was some entertainment with some truth involved.
Right.
Okay, and how has the ministry helped you as it relates to relationships? Like, share with us your experience.
I definitely can. I was married and then widowed and back out here single. I dated and married. I was dated and married for 15. So to come back from 1997 to 2011, and then 20.
So it was still CDs at that time, right?
I mean, for real. There was no social media. There wasn't all these cameras and taking pictures.
Right.
Stuff. So I thought things would be like they were then, where a man will see you and pursue and just keep pursuing. And that wasn't happening. And I'm like, what's going on? I was in these Facebook daily questions about relationships. Seemed like only women were talking to each other. The men wouldn't say a word. Or they would say, oh, y'all don't listen. And I'm like, what is it we're not listening to? I couldn't get any answers. So even when you ask really pointed questions, they would not talk. So I'm like, what is going on out here? in the single world, these men don't talk. I ain't been on no date.
So when you say they don't talk, like it's just like straight shooter.
I think you're in a group and they have a question of the day or whatever. And it's just women going back and forth. The men are like crickets. And we're asking, men, speak up. They won't say nothing. And I couldn't understand why. And their reactions to some of what women would say was negative, like, y'all just don't understand. And I'm thinking, we do understand, y'all dogs. Y'all know that. But I just noticed it was talking to each other. And we really weren't not hearing what they had to say.
Okay. And so how has his delivery helped you to like better understand men?
Oh, it's straight to the point. I mean, you can get.
Give me an example of straight to the point.
Oh my goodness. Well, everything Jimmy says, okay, he'll back it up with scripture.
Got it.
So if you need that angle, he's got that angle. He comes at it from just regular old vernacular, not a whole lot of big words. It's not sugar-coated. I mean, and you either take it or leave it. It's too real not to get the message.
So basically what you're saying is his delivery, even a third grader can understand what he's saying.
I think so. And at the moment when, even being married, I tell even my married friends, it's things that married women need to hear out of these messages too. When he'll say some things and I'm like, oh my goodness, say that. He might have said it a little different way, but I'm like, why does that match up with something I've already heard in my own relationship from somebody I was personally involved with? So why does it match up? And I'm hearing the same message. So that's how he caught my attention.
Big question. How do you overcome his tone? You know, because again, most women give pushback. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
I require men to have like a really soft tone. I don't, that doesn't bother me at all. I come from a family full of men, they talk all kind of ways. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I just eat meat, spit out the bones, and get the meat.
Okay. And how has this ministry helped you to not repeat poor choices in men?
Well,
In men.
well, ask questions, get to the soul of the man, know what kind of just know what your core needs are. So he forces you to think about what you need and to just not rush. Don't do anything hasty, you know. Um, that's what helps me, just knowing, and everybody won't like you. Don't assume that. And I even learned this, that a man can approach you, he can come to you and show interest, and you'll get ghosted. Because that's what a lot of women deal with is being ghosted, and we don't know what happened. All we know is calling me. What happened? Well, something threw them off, and we never know what it is. So we also learn some of those things that may be turning them away.
That's good. Thank you, Dee, so much for that information from your perspective. And not least and not last, you just third. If you would tell us your first name.
My name is Viola.
Viola, where are you from?
North Little Rock, Arkansas. North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, Little Rock. All right.
Yes, Lord.
How did you come across Keep It Real Ministry?
My sister Patricia.
Mm-hmm.
I was just at home and she was like, girl, because I don't get on Facebook much. She's like, girl, get on Facebook. You need to hear this guy I know named Jimmy. I was like, what? She's, I'm gonna send it to you. So I was like, okay. And so I got on from the beginning. I've been listening to Jimmy probably not even a good 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a Facebooker. I pop in and pop out. So, and ever since my sister told me about him, I've been waiting for him to get on so I can see what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So how has the ministry helped you as it relates to, relationships with men?
Well, like I said, I'm just recently listening to him.
Okay.
So, just listening to things that he say, it gives what to look for. And he tells you things that men aren't going to tell you. And I feel like he's a man. He may have been at that point where he was chasing a bunch of women, and grown from that. So I can get advice from him on what to look, to start looking for. So.
Okay. How does the delivery help you to understand men?
It's like I take his delivery as more so like he's passionate. Trying to make sure that the women get the message. It's like sometimes you have to like literally beat it in people's head, in their mind to make them get it. Not just going all around the bush. Just shooting straight forward. So I like that.
Now, again, we come across this question, his tone, women giving pushback to his tone. Why haven't you given pushback?
Because it doesn't bother me. He was strong-willed, so I'm used to hearing that strong voice. So it doesn't bother me. It just seems to me, like I said, it seems like passionate, like I want y'all to get it.
Versus hollering or?
Yes.
Okay. And how has the ministry helped you to not repeat poor choices in men? I know you haven't been listening long, but like what's one thing that that you've gotten from this ministry that you won't repeat in the past?
Asking plenty of questions.
So I want to ask you this question. Why do women not ask questions?
I think women, well, I know.
Or why did you not ask questions?
Because, like Jimmy would say, we want what we want.
You want what you want.
Mhm.
So explain it to me. Wanting what you want, how does that keep you from asking questions?
In my opinion, see what they want. They want what they want. A woman can see what she wants, and she wants.
So
what she
basically, what
wants.
you're saying is, if I see what I want,
Mhm.
say less.
Right. And even men are like that.
Okay.
They don't ask questions. Sometimes they see what they want, and they want what they want.
Okay. Now this man behind this computer asks questions. Yeah, I'm a master asker, but I get it, and Jimmy's right. I mean, you all need to become master askers. That is how you're going to know, or even if you feel like you still don't know, the discernment should kick in to kind of help compensate for that, right? Okay. Well, the man of the hour. I want to give it over to back to Evangelist Jimmy Hinton. And Jimmy, if you want to kind of share some insight based on the three answers that we've gotten from the three different women.
Okay, I want to first address what all three of them were talking about as it relates to they want when they want what they want. The biggest thing that I've talked to different women about why they don't ask questions, the number one thing is this: they don't want to run him off. But the thing is this: if he's not the one, he needs to be ran off. So the purpose, the most important thing, I have three foundations that I keep and heal. There's a lot of trauma that Black men have caused women. We are the cause of their. We are not the reason that they're still living in it. Okay, so there's a responsibility on women to heal. Okay, and that does not negate what men have done. Men, we have been wrong. We have cheated, lied, did them horrible. There's been a lot of things that must be corrected with African American men. And my ministry is not just one side. I address men just as much as well, maybe not just as much, but I have even as women, but not really. And I'm gonna tell you why. The women are the piece to the puzzle. They control the narrative. And so a better woman makes a better man better. And so we have to get African American women healed. I have to teach them how, this is what God has ministered to me. We have to get them healed. They have to heal. They have to know their core needs. And then they have to learn how to vet men. That means ask questions. Allow the man to answer. His answers are. Then you have to acknowledge what he answered, and then you have to allow him to prove what he has said. Now, all of this is under the premise your legs are closed, your emotions are under control, and your heart has been crowned. There's no reason to vet if you're not going to first close your legs and control your emotions and crown your heart, where you'll have process will take place correctly with you being patient and allowing time. The biggest problem a lot of women are having is they're not patient and they won't give time to allow the red flags to show them if the man has intentions for them.
So you start off with close your legs. Why do you start off with that first?
Because the reason when I started the ministry, God gave me a foundation, and I didn't even understand it either because I come from the street. I'm not trying to keep. I need to do is close your legs with me. And so once I went to federal prison and I found my calling and God showed me who I am in Christ. Once I got out and got into the ministry, He gave me those three foundations that will kind of guide women back from the past trauma with having a lot of sex with the wrong men. And He told me that I have to tell them they have to close their legs so they can control their emotions. Okay, one of the biggest things that's difficult with a lot of control emotions as a result of past trauma. And so Women have to close their legs in order to get clarity so they can think and get back to know themselves. They have to relearn themselves. They have to relove themselves, and they have to learn to get along with themselves. They have to be peaceful with themselves. And until they heal, until they quit living in the past, replaying the past, and not seeing their worth, we won't be able to get into vetting because they will always make the wrong choices. And I always say the men you choose to entertain, they are a reflection of who you feel about who you feel you are and how you feel about yourself. It's a reflection of your emotional state. So if they're making poor choices in men, it's because they're not healed. They don't know their core. That poses an inability to make good judgments and choices in men. If that makes you more clarity on why God gave me those three: to close your lids, control your emotions, and crown your heart. That puts you in a position where you're able to heal and go to your core and resolve the unresolved issues, as well as relearn yourself, relove yourself, and have an ability to relive with yourself.
You minister to men as well, but maybe not as much as you do with the women.
Right.
What message do you want to share with men so men can begin to understand women more? Because a lot of times, and before you answer that question, I'm asking that question because just listening to the women share about men DMing them and what's up, beautiful, and hey baby girl and that kind of thing. It sounds like that's not even the right language to be even using with men. I think
Right.
that sounds like language middle school and high school. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, a lot of African American men don't know how to communicate. We're not good communicators. We were not taught that. Most men have been taught to just provide and protect, and that after you provide, protect, and pay, then she should be okay. She shouldn't have to complain. She shouldn't have nothing to say. But that's not true, because we as men have to understand the nature of women. We have to understand, learn her emotion, her emotional language. It's not what a woman is saying, it's how she's feeling about what she's saying. And most men just listen to the words and then they say, well, I heard you. Well, she's not saying, did you hear me? She's saying, did you hear how I felt about what I said? And so as a result of that, men, black men are not emotionally available. And that has come from a lot of emasculation from a lot of black women. And so we talk amongst ourselves. I mean, you have to be vulnerable with him. He has to have a place of peace and comfort you. And a lot of women do not hone in on being peaceful and providing comfort, because a man will not stay where he is not comforted. And a man will not position himself with a woman where there's no peace.
Mm-hmm. So as we begin to wrap up this interview and the testimonials from the women, what is it that you want to share on both sides with men and women? You can go either direction.
Okay. I just like the audience to understand that I was not called to bash women. My tone, my talk, and my touch, it may sound harsh, but God told me once I started my ministry, he told me don't change your message, don't change your methodology, and don't change your mouth for anyone. And so I'm gonna obey God, okay? And so that's how I take that. Now I'm not for everybody. I wasn't called to everybody, but I was called to somebody. And so that's where I don't have any ill will feelings about if someone's offended. I respect their opinion, and they may need to keep scrolling, but I'm not gonna. I choose to obey God, and I want the audience to understand that I don't bash women. I love women. It's like With me, I feel like I'm a lot of women's uncle or brother, and so that's where I come from, a place of love. It may be harsh, but all medicine doesn't taste good.
Mm.
Okay? Just because it don't taste good don't mean it's not good for you. And so I want women to understand that I'm not bashing them. I may say things that will make you think to correct the traumatic behavior. There's a lot of trauma that a lot of American women are not aware of their behaviors that get them the wrong outcomes. And so I'm trying to make them aware. And sometimes you have to shake the tree in order for the fruit to fall. And so God has given me the grace to shake the tree. And so I thank the women. I have it's been a 5-year journey. It's been a lot of pushback, but as I move forward, I think God has empowered a lot of women to understand that I'm coming from a place of love and not hate, not bash. But women are the most important. Black women are the most important piece to our relationships, our generation, and our family. We have to get them to raise the bar. The bar has been lowered as a result of past trauma from what a lot of African American men have done to them. And we're accepting, and just so you know, black women, black men, we're saying we're sorry, we're apologizing. We're trying to correct. There are some good men. All men are not dogs. There are some men that have to surrender to Christ and are trying. And said, I just want the audience to know that I love black women. My mother's 75 and she's still living. And I have 2 daughters. It's impossible for me not to love black women. So my whole issue and my whole mindset is to come on and offer women something that no one has offered them and be real, okay? Irregardless of her emotions, irregardless of her feelings, I need to tell her the truth. And that's the way I feel about it.
Jimmy Hinton, Real Ministries. We appreciate you coming through, sharing your life experience. Ladies, we appreciate you all coming through to share your testimonials and you know how the ministry has helped you. And Jimmy, the last question I do have is that do you have any upcoming events that people can get really excited about and start preparing for?
Well, at this time, we're making a lot of plans. I plan on this summer doing another event. I want event empowerment event. I want to do some. We're planning some Zoom meetings. We're even talking about in process of a Keep It Real University, where women can come in and we can have a session for a month or so, and we can have even questions and answer time where they can get these. Women have a lot of unanswered questions because African American men are emotionally unavailable up until this time. So now a lot of men are more. Kevin Samuels, and there are other few R.C. Blakes. There are other few ministers that are online that are really available, and we're just asking women to listen to us. Open your ears, open your heart. I know you've been through past trauma. I know men did you bad, but you need to take the time and listen to what we're saying, because once you learn the soul of a man, it makes your life easier. Once you learn what feminine energy is, which is what are needing from women, then it'll be men have better outcomes, and relationships will be better.
Jimmy Hinton with Keep It Real Ministry. Again, thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much.